Yep, I just seen it when live.
All right, it did not hit lost connection access to Facebook account. Click here to
That's
reconnect
fine.
to.
Don't worry about it.
It's not. It's good.
Yeah, because we already got people on already right now to see it.
All right.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to another live edition of Real Fans, Real Talk. We we still working the kinks out. I know y'all miss us being in the studio and whatnot, so we still working the kinks out. But big shout out to Bronx Hill Studio for holding us down. Shout out to Heck on the ones and twos. This is the first time I haven't had to run the boards in probably like 2 years. So big shout out to Heck and Bronx Hill Studio. We gotta get Eric up to New York to rock out with us in the studio as well. This is a special episode because y'all know we don't be doing back to back days like this. We just did a show yesterday. Now we back. It's Tuesday, but there was a big trade that went down in the NBA, so we had to get a live going just so we can talk about that. But before I get into all of that, let's introduce. I got to introduce a couple of people actually because my co-host is here. He's virtual right now, but he's still rocking with us. Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on, man?
What's really good, bro? You already know sometimes special situations calls for us to come back with a special episode. And even though it's the NFL trade deadline, the NBA trade stole all the headlines today. So we had to come back with another episode.
Facts. And then of course y'all see who's in the studio with me in person right here. The man, the myth, the legend, aka Mr. Bowles for Peace himself, Haron Hargrave. What's going on, man?
Man, it's a pleasure, man. Just had to come here. All the big news, James Harden trade, and a lot of things going on. NBA, NFL, NBA season just kicked off, so I'm excited to be here and talk some sports.
And of course, he had to mention earlier he went 6 for 7 yesterday from behind the arc. Ron be hooping still. He be hooping.
That was organic. Call. I got a call from some people. As we were coming up here and everything like that. Shout out to them. I thought he was calling. I said, "Oh, you calling because you saw I went 6 for 7 from the 3-point line?" But it was just a random check-in. But
so when I be telling y'all Ron been cheating in the ball for peace games, y'all know why I say that. He's a shooter, so jump shot is the last thing to go. But Eric, we had a trade that kind of just took over everything today. Ron, I know you saw it as well. James Harden has officially muscled his way out of his third team now. If I'm not mistaken, he muscled his way out of Houston. Then he muscled his way out of Brooklyn. Now he muscled his way out of Philly to make it to LA. He wanted to go to LA and run with the Clippers. So now they have a big four of Kawhi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Eric, let me let you start it off. When you heard the news, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
First thing that went through my mind is what I text you. James Harden got his way again. He figured out a way to get his way again. James Harden has pouted about the situation in Philly for a little while now, calling Daryl Morey a liar. As you mentioned, he finessed his way out of another team. And more importantly, he got the destination he wanted because he wanted to go back home and he got to go to the Clippers. So he's going back to LA. On the surface, I know we'll get more in detail about the trade itself. On the surface, it sounds great. It's a lot of star power there with the names that you mentioned. But I think when you really look at that team, there's still a lot of flaws there. And I'm sure we're going to get into all that as well as far as like what this means for the Clippers.
Ron, what about you?
I feel like James Harden's star power has like kind of plummeted over the last couple of years. Him not even being, reliable, getting injured and just not playing to his capabilities. It was one point in time that you thought James Harden was literally the future of the NBA. You know what I mean? Even the way he played. But you see the way the NBA combated him with, his style of play, calling him for like offensive fouls, not giving him the foul calls for a while, but differently, so you have to guard him differently as well too now. But that actually hurt his game. People was actually seeing, he's scoring like 10 less points or something like 9, 10 points less a game. It's because the NBA wasn't falling for that anymore. But I think overall, just speaking about this trade, it just sucks that these players, are able to literally force their way out of situations, and it's not fair to certain organizations. And you know, if a couple of years ago you said Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden was on the same team, it would be like, oh my God. But now I don't even feel that, that pressure that it would seem like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously these guys are a lot older now, and I mean, this might be the most injury-prone core four in the league, with the exception of the Phoenix Suns now, because we know Kawhi misses a lot of games. We know Paul George has been getting banged up the last couple of seasons. James Harden has been dealing with injuries the past couple of years as well. Westbrook might actually be the healthiest out of the four.
You don't miss games.
Yeah, Westbrook is the only one. But I'm still not sure about this team just yet. They did give away a lot of depth with this trade. So I'm interested to see how things play out. What kind of offense they're gonna run. I mean, I know we're in the era of positionless basketball right now, but I'm still interested to see because Harden and Westbrook are both ball dominant guards. So I'm interested to see who's going to be running the offense for the Los Angeles Clippers now. That's one, and then two.
Who's going to start?
Well, I think the four of them will wind up starting, but all of these guys' contracts are up next season. So I'm trying to figure out what the Clippers' plans were moving forward because you gave up draft capital in this trade. I believe it was one first round pick, two second round picks, and a pick swap with the Philadelphia 76ers. You also gave up Robert Covington in that trade, Nick Batum in that trade, Marquise Morris. So I'm just interested in seeing what's the plan moving forward for the Clippers, and are they going to be able to keep these four guys moving forward?
I don't think they plan on keeping the four guys moving forward. As you mentioned, Russ is on a 1-year deal, like 40 mil. I mean, 4 mil. Harden wants the new contract. I think that's the most interesting part of all this because you trade, as you mentioned, the depth and the draft capital that you guys just talked about. But Harden wants a new deal. That's why he wanted out of Philly. And so if you're the Clippers, like how long do you go before you start to negotiate that new deal that he wants? And if you're giving him a new deal, then you got to make tough decisions on Paul George, who I think has a player option after next season as well, and then Kawhi as well. So this is their last ditch effort, I think, to try to win. They're all in. I don't see it. I don't think it's a great move for them, as you mentioned. Not only the injuries, but you have 4 ball dominant perimeter players. They're all at their best when they have a high usage rate and they have the ball in their hands. And so you're going to ask a lot of guys to stand around because if Harden is controlling the ball and running quote unquote pseudo point guard, then is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard now, are they stuck to be just corner 3-point shooters now? Because that's not their strength.
Yeah.
And Russ and Harden played together in Houston. That didn't work. We saw how that planned out before. So now you're putting those two guys in the backcourt together along with 2 other guys who expect to have the ball in their hands a lot. Ty Lue has his hands full with this job, man.
If anybody that I think could get them to gel, it would be a Ty Lue. You know what I mean? I think Ty Lue does, with that team in Cleveland, getting people to just, kind of buy into, what's happening. LeBron was a ball dominant player, point forward. And, J.R. Smith became like a spot up shooter and it kind of Kevin Love. And I mean, it worked, for, overall, but if any coach that I think can do it, it would be Ty Lue.
It did work, but I will add in they did have prime LeBron James still on that Cleveland team.
I wouldn't say they have prime anybody.
So
right now.
yeah, I'm saying now
Right.
all of these guys are past their. I don't want to say Paul George is necessarily past his prime, but the injuries. He might as well be past his prime if you're gonna be missing 30 games in the season.
Been missing playoff games. Like Kawhi Leonard missed playoff games.
Yeah.
Paul George playoff games. So at the end of the day, like it's tough. You play a whole, I wouldn't even say 82 game season. You play a whole 55 game season for most of these guys, and then you get to the playoffs, and then you're missing games in the playoffs. So it's if they stay healthy, they can be very dangerous. And it just adds more to this upcoming year in the NBA. I think this season is with with Dame and over there in Milwaukee. I'm just interested in this season, man. It's pretty dope.
Kawhi and Paul George play lockout seasons. That's what they do.
I mean, that's putting it nicely for them guys. I don't even think they've really played lockout seasons. They missed so much time. Again, Haron, I do understand your point on that with making it work with Cleveland, but I also think we can't undermine the supporting cast they had in Cleveland because they had a good group of veterans around those guys. Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert, Tristan Thompson, guys who really knew their role. And it was easy to kind of play off of Bron and Kyrie because those were the only two ball handlers on that team, really. Everybody else was kind of just playing their role. In this situation, I really think Paul George is his best when he's the point forward. But now you got to take the ball out of his hands because Harden doesn't like to play off the ball. If you make Harden play off the ball, he's just going to stand around. He will not play. We've seen it. He did it to Chris Paul in the past. So he will not give you any effort if you say, yo, James, we're not allowing you to play point guard.
I find it, really strange how any of these teams will even take a James Harden now. You know what I mean? Like you're giving up a lot of, why not just let him sit over there in Philly? Why? Just waste out his, he's not gonna play for them. Why not just let him?
Yeah, and it does suck for the 76ers because, to be honest with you, they really didn't get nothing for James Harden. Whatever the picks, great, but two of those picks are second round draft picks. It probably, just like it's rare that you're going to get a Jokic or Gilbert Arenas or one of those guys in the second round. So the picks don't really mean nothing. The players they got in return.
Tyrese Maxey is a beast, so you know what I mean. He's gonna go. I think he's gonna be able to shine now and do what he got to do. And not have to. He's averaging 30 right now.
But think about what you gave up to get James Harden in the first place.
Facts.
And then now,
they gave up Ben Simmons.
No, but they gave up. They gave up
draft. They gave up draft capital in that. Yeah, they gave us some.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. A lot of these trades, they come, they go, and nothing. I don't think this is going to impact who wins the NBA championship.
No, I don't, because I don't think the Clippers will be in the NBA Finals. Just because I don't think most of them guys is going to be there come playoff time.
It's crazy, and I agree with you guys. But it's crazy that now ESPN is projecting that the Clippers have the best odds to come out of the West. I don't understand how they come up with these projections. This is a debate that Trip and I have had in the past because, as we just highlighted, these guys, specifically PG-13 and Kawhi, rarely play. So how are you projecting the Clippers to now have the best odds to come out of the West when we don't even know if them guys are going to be healthy come playoff time?
Wait, who projected that? Skip Bayless?
ESPN. ESPN's latest projections are that the Clippers have the best odds to come out of the West.
No, that's crazy because when from just what you said earlier, Eric, as far as guys kind of adjusting their games, that works when we're starting from training camp and then going into the preseason. But now the season already started, so you kind of gotta work this thing out on the fly. And because of the style of play that both Russell Westbrook, who did get accustomed to playing with the Clippers last season, so I will give him credit for that. But now you got to bring in somebody else who's very similar to Westbrook because they're both, to be as effective as they are, they both need to have the ball in their hands a lot. So you got to adjust to that as well. I don't know if they can do it before somebody gets injured, and then you got to start the whole process all over again.
Say if they're healthy. Say if the Clippers squad that they have is a healthy squad. People are inspired that they got these four, and they kind of hey, we got four top stars, right? NBA stars, right? Right? They may not be in our prime, but at the end of the day, we're gonna come together like that. Say something like how the Celtics came together with
second round at best.
Second round
at best.
Even if they all come together.
Because who's rebounding? They're gonna get out rebounded.
They got Zubac.
Yeah.
You really need me up here talking about Zubac? Is that what we talking? That's what's gonna be the savior? Nah, man. Zubac is trash. I'm sorry.
Zubac ain't trash. I think that's an exaggeration. He's not trash.
But when he got to go joking, when he got to go, anybody got it.
But hold on. Let me ask. hold on though, because Haron can speak to this better than we can, right?
Yeah.
Even at their best, right? Even at their best, who's their spot up shooters?
That part. Well,
Who,
you talk about
who,
spot up, yeah.
like who's spacing the floor for them?
I don't know who's on that.
Maybe Harden might be the
Right. Like that's my thing. Like it on paper, it looks great, but it's like if let's say if their best version of his, but is he a spot up shooter?
No, when I'm just you have to judge your game. I don't know.
But that's all right. So that's to my point. Even at their best, like who are the guys that's gonna knock down the corner threes that can space the floor for them? Who are the guys that's gonna be like, yo, if we put Harden in high pick and roll, we know we got these shooters out here. They don't have that.
Wait, did they still got Luke Kennard?
Nah, Luke, I don't think Luke Kennard is there no more.
Oh, so then I don't know. I gotta check. Let me check this roster.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
I said, like
they got PJ Tucker.
Oh, there you go, PJ did your main man, Eric.
Green ball corner pocket. You know, it seems like James Harden everywhere he go, PJ go. You know what I mean? That's his little brother. You know what I mean?
It's
his big brother, I should say.
PJ is part of the package deal. He like wherever James go, I gotta rock with him. I'll say this. I'll say this though. On Philly, they lost the trade initially. Like when you look at it on the surface, they obviously lost the trade. They took a bunch of scrap pieces and some draft picks for James Harden, who led the league in assists last year and is an all-star. We know that part. But long term, don't sleep on Daryl Morey, because what this trade has done now for him is given him more draft capital. And in terms of expiring contracts with the guys that they got from the Clippers, as well as Tobias Harris, who's on the last year of his deal, they got like $100 million in expiring contracts that they can trade out. So I think Daryl Morey is going to try to find a way to make a move. As Haron highlighted, Maxi's a beast. We know Embiid is the reigning MVP.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if Morey uses all those draft picks, the expiring contracts, specifically Tobias Harris, to try to go make a move for an all-star, because there's already been rumblings that Donovan Mitchell is going to opt out of his contract with the Cavs.
Yeah,
so,
because he didn't sign an extension. He
didn't sign an extension. So Daryl Morey is one of the smartest execs in the game. He ain't making this move without some sort of foresight to realize, like, yo, it's 2 or 3 guys I can go get with all these expiring contracts and draft picks. There's somebody I can get. Now, I'm not predicting that it will be Donovan Mitchell, but there's going to be somebody similar to that skill set that Daryl Morey is going to be like, I can go get that guy and replace James Harden. I do not think the Sixers are a finished product, because they're with Embiid, they are too close to a competitor to just say, all right, we're just going to roll it out with Embiid and Maxey and hope that these role players figure it out. Morey's going to make a move.
But they got to do it fast though, because you don't want Embiid getting antsy.
So did we ever officially find out what Daryl Morey did besides to James Harden? Is that this official? I mean, we've heard speculation of Kelly Oubre taking his girlfriend and all of that at the party, and then they signed Kelly Oubre. Who knows, like, if what that effect had on James Harden saying what he said? Maybe he didn't want Kelly Oubre signed to Philly. You know,
No, I think the promise that he broke was the contract, because I think when it was supposed to be restructuring the deal, when he did less, when he took less, it was supposed to be this time around. He was supposed to get the big contract from them. But I mean, you did it to yourself, James. Like,
I think one of the parts of the story that has been overlooked recently, Harden, I think, did this to himself because Harden overplayed his hand. Let's not forget, guys, there was a story that broke during the season that Harden wanted to go back to Houston, and he was so in love with the city of Houston. And even at the time when that story came out, everybody couldn't understand it, because it's like, why would you want to go back to Houston? The team is bad, and you literally just forced your way out of there 2 years ago. So why would you want to go back to Houston? And I think Harden was trying to use that as a bargaining chip. He thought, Houston has the cap space. Houston loves me. If I get them to up the price, Philly has no choice but to match it. And the moment Ime Udoka went over there, Ime probably was like, nah, we don't want Harden. Because what did they do on the first night of free agency? They signed Fred VanVleet. They didn't even wait. They didn't even wait to see if Harden was available. Harden had an opportunity to opt out. He opted in because he knew there was no market. So I think James did it to himself. He overplayed his hand. He thought more teams were going to come knocking at his door. And when he saw teams weren't knocking at his door, he opted in and then tried to force the Sixers to trade him. And Daryl Morey, probably like he did with Ben Simmons, said, we'll trade you when we're ready. Then somehow Harden now saying, oh, this guy's a liar. So I think Harden...
That man Harden the most money
right.
ever. You call that man a liar, bro? He done got you the big bag.
Yeah. And a lot of it he does bring on himself because when you look at everything he's done, forcing his way out of team to team to team, like it's like, all right, man, you force yourself force a trade once, I give you that. But this is your third time now forcing your way off of a team.
Third time in the last 3 years.
Yeah, and then you expect somebody to throw the bag at you?
Third time in the last 3 years. Think about that.
Isaiah Thomas got a better shot at coming back and getting the break struck that he said he was gonna get when he played for the Celtics.
That's crazy. That was the biggest disaster that ever happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they got Norman Powell's gonna be their 3-point shooter.
Cool. I'm just saying, it's gonna. To me, I'm telling you, it's gonna be super interesting to see. We're very early.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. We have a little bit of technical difficulties. Eric, can you hear us?
Yeah, it looks like he's frozen. I don't think it's us.
Oh, it's the internet?
No, I don't think it's us.
Oh, okay. All right. So while we're waiting on Eric to unfreeze, we gonna keep going on the show. There is another move that I wanted to talk to you about. We haven't spoken about this.
Yeah.
Dame in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Came out the gate swinging at 39. That first night.
40 ball. You round up.
Then they took a loss to Atlanta, which was a little bit shocking, but I do understand.
6 points that game.
Yeah. There's gonna be some bruises,
Mm-hmm.
and
then they came back and won.
Yes, they got the bounce back game. So what is your take on Dame and and Giannis as a duo? How far do you think they can go this season?
I love the opportunity for Dame to play with another superstar player. He's been in Portland for many years, doing what he had to do and having that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it by my. If I got to do it by myself, I'm gonna do it. That Kobe mentality. Kobe played with the Lakers all 20 years of his NBA career. I think Dame was one of those guys, but in this league nowadays, where you see all these people teaming up and buddy ball, it almost got overwhelming for Dame. You know what I mean? So I don't know that the Milwaukee. He thought he was gonna go to Milwaukee. But I think it's a great situation for him because Giannis needs a Dame Lillard, right?
Yes.
Shout out to him, one of my big Sky members, you know what I mean? He went to Weber State, I was at Sacramento State, so I got to throw that in there. But I think it's a beautiful trade for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it's great for the city, and I think that Dame is going to be a really, really good fit. And just even watching that first game, Giannis, an incredible time situation, giving the ball to Dame, saying, "Yo, do what you do." I think that was great.
And one thing I love about Giannis is the respect factor. He pretty much said this is Dame's team. From the jump. And
you know how comfortable that makes you feel as a hooper. To come into a situation and somebody's saying, "Yo, do what you do."
Yes.
You don't want to go back and forth and have oh man, should I shoot? Should I play? And I've been in situations like that. You know what I mean? On the court, and I remember, when the street ball was still, playing for a different team, but I played with Bingo's All-Stars. Shout out to Coach Bingo and everything. And I remember it was me, Steve Burke, Kiki Clark. He's the head coach over at St. Peter's and stuff now too. But I remember we played at the Rucker, and I was being a little passive. And Bingo, he called the timeout. We were up. He called the timeout and he said, "I didn't bring you over here to pass that ball. if you gonna keep passing, then I'm gonna sit you down. This is H20. I can't really keep the ball. I didn't bring you here. 100%. So but that stamp by the coach, sometimes you need to hear it. So with Giannis doing that for Dame, I think that was a beautiful thing, and it was super dope. And so I think that they can definitely make some noise. I can see them going to the NBA championship and even winning. It's like that. I really think that they can do it. I also think my Knicks can do it as well too. So but that's that.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said my Knicks. I did.
I'm glad Eric is back. Eric, because we had somebody in the comments yesterday talking about the Knicks winning the championship.
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't know what they were smoking, drinking. It must have been a compilation. They must have been, because remember I seen Ray had did the Hennessy and Hypnotic. I think they was drinking Hennessy and Hypnotic again and mixed that up and said the Knicks was going to win the championship.
I don't think we that far off.
That's all.
We're not. No, we're not that far off.
Far off from what?
No. Hold on. Let me be the voice.
Welcome back first. Welcome back.
Yeah. I apologize. My connection went out there. Let me be the voice of reason. Can we win a championship as currently constructed? No, we can't. Unfortunately, Julius Randle has shown us in the playoffs that he can't be relied on. So the way we're currently constructed, no. But if we make the right move, I think we could. And that's why, to Haron's point, I don't think we're far off. If you're a team that can make the second round of the playoffs, you're not far off from making an NBA Finals. Like let's keep it a buck.
And they could have beat the Heat. They definitely could have. But the Heat was the 8th seed too. People were saying But people forget the Heat as an 8th seed made it to the NBA. They beat the Bucks last year.
Yeah, but that team is better than
they weren't better. They were not.
I don't think they're better than the Knicks. I think they just got.
The Knicks went 3-0 against them in the regular season.
They wasn't better than the Knicks. They just got hot at the right time.
Miami, the playoff team was better than the Knicks.
Miami had a playing game. They almost got ousted by Chicago. People forget these things. So
Miami just got hot. Miami got hot at the right time. I don't think they were better than the Knicks.
They got hot at the right time because didn't they see each other?
I think that
right.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. So let me say this. So on Miami's path to the finals, their toughest series was the Knicks.
Nice.
So let's not act like if the Knicks don't find a way to close out 2 of those games, because game 1 the Knicks blew a chance to close it out, and game 6 the Knicks blew a chance with the lead to win. If the Knicks find a way to win 2 of those games that they blew late, the Knicks are advancing to play the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
And they had their way with the Celtics.
Right, and the Knicks won 3 out of 4.
To the middle of the street and stop, you would have got hit by that car.
Listen, but the point is, hold on, Trip. If we're saying
they get swept last year in the playoffs by the
right, like
swept. First of all, we're not talking about LeBron.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
LeBron got more rings by himself than the whole Knicks organization.
You know what's crazy? But you know what's crazy, right? LeBron and the Lakers, and this is not shading them. They go to the Western Conference Finals, right? They got there mainly because of matchups. I don't think they were the second best team in the West. They just got the right matchups to get there, because we talked about this trip. They played a Memphis team at the perfect time. Steven Adams had gone down. That was a young Memphis team that wasn't ready for that moment. They got to take advantage of them. They played a Warriors team that had no big men. They took advantage of them. The moment they played a team that was more balanced, they really struggled. They got swept. If it goes the other way around and they had to play Phoenix in the second round, I don't think the Lakers could have beat Phoenix in the second round.
Well, who could the Knicks have beaten in the second round? Because with that team, they wasn't going to do nothing no way.
But you avoided the statement though. Is what I'm saying is it does come down to matchups.
Obviously, but again, you play who's in front of you.
Right, but let's not act like being in the second round is far away from being in the NBA Finals. If you get past the second round, you're 1 round away.
It's not if you're a legitimate championship contender. Currently constructed, the Knicks are not a legitimate championship contender. Sure, if they go out and get somebody and bring somebody in, it's possible they could be. But right now, if the Knicks don't make any moves, they are not a championship contender. They are a second-round team at best.
I would like to speak to that. The way the NBA is currently even played, like a team that plays hard and together can win a championship. Like the Miami Heat, they played together. They had Bam and Butler as their 2 main players, and then they had role players. Right at the end of the day, if you're playing the right way, I honestly think that even we didn't make the adjustments that we should have made. Thibodeau was in his 9 man rotation, and having somebody like Evan Fournier, which in the Heat series we needed shooters. Evan Fournier should have been playing basketball. Derrick Rose could have played the point to give Jalen Brunson some spot minutes. At the end of the day, We didn't do that. We didn't make those adjustments, and the Heat did, and that's why they won.
Was the Knicks going to beat Boston or Milwaukee?
Hold on. And I want to piggyback that statement as well, because Spoelstra did outcoach Tibbs
100%.
in the second round of that playoff series.
Yes, he did.
But I want to ask you this, Trip, right? Because we're talking title contenders and all that. And to my point of you get hot at the right time and you get the right matchups, you can advance in the playoffs. So we see it every year. Going into the playoffs last year, would you have said that the Miami Heat are a legitimate title contender?
No, but the Miami Heat have made it to the finals.
No. But it's not. But it's not. Hold on. But it's not no. But it's a very simple question. Going into the playoffs, when we saw the matchups, did we think that the Miami Heat could win 3 rounds of NBA playoff matchups to get to the finals? And I think we'll all agree, no, we didn't see that happening. But in the playoffs, the Miami Heat shot the 3-point ball way better than they had shot it all regular season. It's the reason that Max Strauss got a new contract. It's the reason that Gabe Vincent got a new contract, because those guys played above their heads. And obviously, Coach Spo is a legendary coach. Like we could never take anything away from Coach Spo and what he does. He won all of his matchups. When you look at those series, he outcoached every other coach along the way. The only coach he could not outcoach was Mike Malone, and that's because Mike Malone probably has the best player in the league in the Joker. But along the way, Coach Spo made all the adjustments to figure out a way to beat all the other teams that were far more talented than the Miami Heat. The Boston Celtics have more talent than the Miami Heat. The Milwaukee Bucks have more talent than the Miami Heat. I'm willing to say the Knicks have more talent than the Miami Heat. But the Miami Heat got hot at the right time. So we can't overlook the fact that matchups and just getting hot sometimes outweighs just what we consider a title contender.
No, we can't. But I'm still going to take Jimmy Butler and Bam over Julius Randle, who was stinking up the joint since he made the All-Star team.
I think that people feared the Cavaliers more than they feared Miami Heat. Like they were talking about Donovan Mitchell and this. They talk about Donovan Mitchell and this Mobley. And at the end of the day, we wasn't supposed to get past the Cavaliers. So when we did get past the Cavaliers and then Miami upset the Bucks, I'm like, yo, we can get the Heat. Like, I watched them play against the Heat.
I wouldn't be too surprised though by the Knicks being able to get past Cleveland, because Cleveland is a young team. That team hasn't been anywhere before. That was their first year really establishing themselves as a team that can just be in the playoffs. But with Donovan Mitchell just getting there, it wasn't a situation where going in where I'm like, all right, the Cavs gonna make some noise this season.
But do you remember what the everybody was saying? Like Donovan Mitchell,
they should
trade the whole team, RJ Barrett, things of that nature.
I mean, they probably should have traded for Donovan Mitchell, but they still got a chance to get him down. So maybe who knows? Now, if you telling me this is going to get Donovan Mitchell and bring him over to the team, I might say they got a better chance. But as constructed, I there's nothing that you're going to tell me that's going to make me believe that the Knicks can be in the finals with this team right here when I have watched their best player decline over the past year and a half.
Well, as I started off by saying, I think as currently constructed, they are not a finals team. I said that from jump, and absolutely. I disagree with Haron on that. But I do agree that they are not far off, because, again, I think the Knicks could be a move or two away from being a legitimate finals contender. We talked about Philly earlier. I know this is a far-fetched idea. I know as a Knicks fan, we hear it all the time. Oh, such and such want to play for the Knicks, such and such want to play for the Knicks. But if the Knicks found a way to get Joel Embiid and not have to break up their roster, you cannot tell me they would not be a finals contender.
Yes, but you got to get Joel Embiid.
All right. So, but the point is, then that means you're not far off, Trip. If you're one move away from potentially being a finals contender, you're not far off, is the point. And
that one move is bringing over the third best player in basketball. That is kind of far off.
No, but I'm just using Embiid as an example because, to the Philly point, Philly's going to be in a situation where they're now on the clock. Embiid is stuck around, and Embiid has been loyal to Philly in terms of going through all these different quote-unquote processes. Right, this is the third different general manager there. This is the third different head coach there. Now it's about to be the third different quote unquote number 2 with him, because he went from having Ben to having James. Maxi's going to have to be the number 2 until they make the trade for whoever's going to be the eventual number 2.
Yeah.
If Embiid were to push his way out of there and force his way out of there the way we see other stars, he's the type of guy that could turn the Knicks into a legitimate title contender. I'm not saying it's going to be Embiid.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying that's an example. But also the point of matchups mean everything in the playoffs. 3 years ago, no one in their right mind would have said the Atlanta Hawks could get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But the Atlanta Hawks were in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Matchups mean everything in a playoff Trip. That determines really your pathway through is really dictated by who you have to match up with in the playoffs. Because you can have a really bad regular season like the Lakers did last year. But then when you look at your side of the bracket and you're like, yo, we match up great against Memphis. We could beat up on them. Yo, we match up great against Golden State. They ain't got no bigs. We could beat up on them. Next thing you know, you're in the conference finals.
Well, the Lakers were also one of the best teams in basketball after the trade deadline too. So we can't just act like they would trash this whole season and then they got the playoffs and made a run.
They would trash 70% of the season.
For sure.
From the trade deadline to the playoffs, they started cooking.
That's the Lakers.
That's not them getting into the playoffs.
That's the LeBron fan in you.
They was still trash 70% of the season.
For sure.
I mean, the Knicks was trash for 40 years.
No, hold on.
You
trying to deflect. Were they not trash for 70% of the season? Did you not think Rob Pelinka was a terrible general manager?
Until they made the. But I always thought he was a terrible general manager.
There you go.
Changed from last season. I just believe in LeBron James enough.
If
he's healthy.
And what was their seed going? What was their seed going into the playoffs?
What is 7?
They were the 7 seed,
7 seed?
which means they was trash 70% of the season.
Whoa! I'm not gonna give you that because LeBron missed a chunk of the season and AD missed a chunk of the season. We don't know what they would have been.
They had the play-in game, right?
If they were healthy throughout the season, we don't know where they would have been.
Oh, now we still hold on. But now we play in the if game. When I said a minute ago, if the Knicks had closed out game 1 and game 6 against Miami, it's a different series. And then you deflected that. You said we're not playing the if game.
There's a difference
to the Lakers, we're playing the if game now.
Being on the court and you are missing 2 top 10 players from your team. That's 2 different things. The Knicks were healthy pretty much the bulk of the season, and they weren't going to do nothing regardless.
Nah, that's cap.
Did you say the Knicks were going to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I made a prediction. People were saying, "Oh, are the Knicks going?" I said the Knicks will finish. I said top 4. They finished top 5 in the East. At the end of the day,
Haron was out of pocket with that prediction, so I remember.
I remember you said that. You said that, right? I mean, you saw me say that was in September. Yeah. But I watched the game. I watched preseason. I watched how they play in summer league. I'm like, I watched, and then at the end of the day. You know how many people low management games? You gonna win those games.
Yes, but at any point in time,
did you
no, that's not even what I asked you. At any point in time, did you in your heart believe that the Knicks could beat Boston or that the Knicks could beat Milwaukee?
I honestly, because they did it during the break, and I watched the game, and it's hard to see the way I watch basketball from people who don't play the game, right? If you're not playing and you don't understand certain things and you're looking at players and player matchups, I think Tatum, he's a very good player, but I don't think he's like the MVP player that people be talking about, Jason Tatum. Like
the Liberty beat Las Vegas 3 straight games to end the regular season, and they got their boot smoked in the WNBA finals. So
but that's different though.
I still
say no.
They played the Garden.
What does that mean? They've been losing at the Garden for 100%.
But at the end of the day, the stakes being high, they're playing in New York City. Like they have the most.
Is the Liberty playing in New York City?
Why are we talking about the Liberty?
I'm just we're talking about what the team did in the regular season in comparison to what they did in the playoffs. The Knicks are a
hard. They play well.
But they are still not getting past Boston or Milwaukee.
I'll say
he got past Milwaukee. It's just the luck of the draw. Giannis got hurt in it. If those injuries have Chris Middleton not being, those things happen. So at the end of the day,
you think they're gonna get past? Then they have a better chance this season than they did last season.
Nah, this season a little different.
Okay.
I'll say. Listen, I'll say this. I think the Milwaukee matchup is a nightmare for us.
Yeah, for us, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no. If we had to play Milwaukee, it's like we had no answer for you.
It's a nightmare matchup, and the previous version of Milwaukee anyway, because Drew Holiday, you saw it on opening night, the way he just locked up Jalen Brunson. He completely locked down Jalen Brunson. If we would have played him in the playoffs, they would have took us out in 5 games. But the Boston matchup, I do like, because Boston is such a finesse team that I feel like our physicality gives them trouble. And you saw that on opening night as well. They jumped out to the big lead, and the moment we slowed down the game and got more physical with them, we dominated them on the boards. If you look at the numbers, we lost that game purely because we missed 12 free throws.
And also, we didn't get out free. Like they rescinded that technical foul on Jalen Brunson too.
Yeah,
so we would have went up 7 at that point. You know what I mean? They called the flop. I think they were just that night. They were just trying everything.
But they gave them the flop call back because they had given it to Porzingis early, and then they went back and the ref did the makeup call. But we missed a ton of free throws. But everywhere across the board, we killed them on the boards. We outshot them from 3. We were just way more physical for them because they are a team that is a finesse team. That's just the way they play. And so Boston, I do like the matchup with them. I think they have more talent than us. That's not to say that we have anybody better than Tatum or Brown. They have more talent than us. We have more physicality, and I think we have a better coach than them. But Milwaukee, we do not match up well with Milwaukee. I'm not even going to front. We play them in the series, it's going to get ugly.
So you think the 7-game series, you think the Knicks beat Boston?
In a 7-game series, I definitely like our chances. I would put money on us to beat Boston in a 7-game series.
All right, we're gonna put the bet in right.
We could.
I'll bet right now.
I'll do that.
That the Knicks will not beat Boston in the playoffs.
I'll put the money on that. You know, Trip, you already know. I ain't scared of no ticket. We put a ticket in right now.
Can I put a request in the Bronx Hill Studios? Hey, mark that down on the calendar right now. That dinner bet, because I want to go to towel or something like that.
You can do whatever you want with it. You can do whatever. You can put the timestamp on it. Whatever you want to do. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tell you right now. We match up very well with them because we can outcoach them. No disrespect to Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla cannot outcoach Thibodeau in the series, and our physicality will wear them down. They got more talent than us, but it's one of them situations where you could just wear down a team. And Haron, I'm sure Haron can speak to this. When you could just physically wear down a team and start to chip away at them, it's going to take a toll on you over the course of 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So we can do that against them. Milwaukee, we got no answers for Milwaukee. I wouldn't even front and try to say.
Start disappearing, and you let me know how that theory gonna be.
We don't have to win because of Julius Randle. Like
you need him to win. You're not telling me Julius Randle is going to be averaging 10 points a game in a series versus Boston, and they're going to win that series.
We won games with Obi Toppin playing. And I'm just saying, last year in the playoffs, Julius Randle missed 2.
Like you did not play Boston Celtics in the playoffs. There's no way you're telling me if Julius Randle is averaging 10 points a game, they're beating the Boston Celtics.
We can, but again, because of the physicality, I'm telling you the truth, Trip. Look at his stat line. Trip, look at his stat line from opening night, how poor he shot, but his ability to still pass out of the post, his ability to still create for other people, his ability to still rebound. We kill them on the boards because they are not physical enough. Now, against a Milwaukee, he's got to score more points. We can't get by with him scoring 10 points. But against Boston,
Porzingis having a career night.
we can't survive that. They had 2 guys score 30 points that night. And they still barely beat us. Like we can't survive. We just can't survive that. But against Milwaukee, there's no way because Giannis kills Julius Randle. Giannis is too physical. He's too athletic. He does everything against Julius. Julius will have to play way better for us to even compete against Milwaukee. I'm not even gonna say beat them, just compete against them.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second, John. Let me make a phone call. I'm calling.
We got a question.
Right now
We got a question.
To set a reservation for June. I'm setting my reservation.
I can do that.
Take a question. I'm gonna make a phone call.
Hold on. I'm gonna Trip. Should I put the question up on the board?
Put it up.
Shout out to Kyrie Thompson. He's a great supporter of the show. What's your thoughts on Steph Curry's amazing start and the Warriors already have 3 road wins? Haron, kick that off.
I think that's great. You know what I mean? The Warriors, last year, getting off to a slow start, just getting more comfortable. I think, Klay Thompson having gonna be able to have a full season under his belt. again, where he's coming back. He came back from injury last year as well, and then Stephen Curry, showing that he's the leader that he is, and then they kind of had a funk. They couldn't win on the road last year. So again, 3 road wins already. That's a good feeling, especially as a team. Just as a shooter too, playing really well, and I think that's gonna allow them to do a lot more moving forward. I think that's a great sign from a great team.
Go ahead, Trip.
Shout out to Steph, man. I mean, the Steph Curry, they didn't start the season off last year healthy either.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time too, so I don't know if I necessarily would put too much on the start from last season just because they didn't start off healthy. Steph Curry is phenomenal. There's a reason he's ranked where he is in the player rankings. And Golden State, they find ways to win games, and they continue to improve. Even as guys leave, they're still winning. How do you lose the second best player in basketball, or if you want to argue he's the first best player in basketball, and still come back and win the championship after that? So it doesn't surprise me. The fact that Chris Paul is now is coming off the bench now.
Right.
I still want to see how that's going to work out, but nothing surprises me anymore with the Golden State Warriors because they're a team that I feel like is just going to be around, and if you let them linger and stick around, there's a chance that you can get smoked out the gym come playoff time.
Yeah, I'll say Steph just continues to remind us why he is one of the greatest of all time, not just as a shooter, but as a player, a competitor, a champion. Steph is amazing, and what he's doing right now, I don't think he's going to slow down anytime soon. I really don't think he is. I think his ability to catch and shoot, his ability to play make and create his own shot is going to continue to improve over the next year or two. But the Warriors as a whole, man, this is a championship team, and I'm sure they didn't like the way they lost in the playoffs last year, and they out for vengeance. So the 3 road wins, the Steph start, this is all them speaking to, like, we know we didn't play as best as we could last year. Let's get out to a hot start. Let's get ourselves in a better position come playoff time. They're going to be amazing, man. We got a lot of questions here. It's coming to Derek Thompson, and the show is live. He was wondering right now, but he put this one up as well. Do y'all think Memphis can hang on 25 games without Ja Morant? They might be too far behind by then. Trip, go ahead. Start this one off.
No. They're still on 3 right now, right?
They're on 4.
They're on 4? Oh, that's even worse. No, I don't think they survived this. If you're telling me they sneak into the they sneak into the playoffs on the 10th seed and they get into the play-in tournament, maybe. But we talking about 25 games without Ja Morant, an entire season without Steven Adams, who's not only the defensive anchor, he's the veteran in the locker room that can kind of get guys organized.
What happened to Steven Adams?
I forget what the injury was, but he's done for the season. He's done for the season. And then, as much as we clown on Dylan Brooks, during the season last year, he was a big part of the success that the Memphis Grizzlies had. He's no longer there. If we're talking about an on-4 start right now, obviously, Jaren Jackson Jr. is a lot better when you have both of those 2 guys on the court around him. So, he has to do a lot to step his game up without Ja Morant. And I don't think they have the roster this season that can, because I know they went on their runs last year when Ja got suspended the year before last. They went on little runs, but that was after having a nice flow of team chemistry going into those points. Now you're starting off the season, and Ja Morant is so important to that Memphis Grizzlies team. It's not even funny. Him not being there for 25 games is going to really hurt the Memphis Grizzlies to the point where there's, I would say, 60% chance they don't make the playoffs right now.
Me personally, it's tough to win games in the NBA. First and foremost, starting off 0-4, losing, having Ja out 25 games. he's gonna be playing Kawhi Leonard and Paul George season. You know what I mean? But then having losing Steven Adams, and it's gonna be tough. So at the end of the day, and all these other teams reloaded, and the West being stacked, I don't see them. I don't see them making the playoffs.
Yeah, this is tough for them, man. I think this is a continuation of what was taking place at the end of last season. Remember when Adams went down, they really struggled, and it happened in the playoffs, and it's happening to start the season. They missed that leadership, they missed that stability, not only with Ja but with Steven Adams. Again, that's 40% of your starting roster right there. So you need a little bit more, and then you're also trying to integrate Marcus Smart to that. You got a young, inexperienced big like Jaren Jackson. I think Memphis goes in as a play-in team. I don't think they'll miss the playoffs altogether because I expect them to get hot in the second half of the season once they have their roster kind of complete. But they are not a real threat in the West.
Yeah, not the West is too tough, and we just finished talking about how good Golden State has started off the season. Obviously, Denver picked right back up where they left off. The Suns are going to get healthy at some point, and they're still winning games, even with Bill missing the start of the season, with Devin Booker being out. It's going to be really tough for the Memphis Grizzlies and Sacramento Kings. Once Darren Fox comes back from his ankle injury, they're going to be right back into the mix. So it's going to be tough, man, without John Morant. You even got, there's a couple other teams in the West that can make a little bit of noise in the bottom half of that is the playoff rankings. So it's going to be extremely hard for the Memphis Grizzlies to bounce back, especially the deeper they fall into this hole right now. Because now you gotta win 4 games straight just to be at 500 without losing any other games. So if you're telling me John Morant is going to miss 25 games and the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be 5-20 when he comes back, that's a hell of a hole to you know what I'm saying? And I'm being nice just because based off of what I've seen from the team, it could get really ugly for Memphis.
I think it's going to keep getting ugly, like as you mentioned. Derek Thompson had another question here as well. What's up with the Lakers not looking good, struggling to beat the Magic and the Suns without Beal and Booker? Then Reeves and Gabe can't hit. Trip, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got the partial contract with the Lakers. What's your thoughts on the Lakers start to the
It's
season?
not guaranteed right now. It's not guaranteed, but I'm working on it. They gonna get it together. They just gotta work it out, man. They gotta start getting that flow of things back. Once they take LeBron off his minutes restriction and whatnot, they're gonna start doing what they're supposed to do out there. Austin Reeves started out the season a little bit slow. I don't know if he's still tired from his Olympic run and what he did out there. But I think the Lakers will be fine. It's more so going to be determined by what Anthony Davis does. If we can get the consistent 30 point, 12 rebound, 3 block night from Anthony Davis, they'll start to click as the season progresses. But again, there's a lot of pieces that were added in this season that have to get a feel for the team and how things are going to run both offensively and defensively. So, give him a minute. You know what I'm saying? Give him 20 games and let's come back and revisit this thing.
Yes, I was definitely about to say that. I think that, NBA season doesn't really start or you don't really know what you have until about the 20 game mark, and beyond. Like, you should definitely know what you have in your team. Especially, I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the first couple of games of the season, which is really not fair. But as much as I want to hate on the Lakers and hate on LeBron James, I think that the Lakers will they'll get it together. Austin Reeves, he'll get it together, and just in a new role.
I want to see him doing this. I like when they do the ice in the veins.
They got a lot of talent over there, man. I saw comments, LeBron needs help. It's like, he has tons of help. I hate when people go in these comments and LeBron needs help. LeBron, he got all the help he needs.
There's other people that don't really know that. First of all, you can't tell me about helping when we only played 4 games so far in the season. Like
LeBron needs help. It's crazy, but yeah. So I think that the Lakers will, get it together and they'll have I think they'll finish in, top at least maybe 6, 5th, 6.
I know it's tough for you with your level of age. I can imagine. One thing I wanted to see, Eric, was when LeBron fast screen. I would love to see the hate in Haron's face.
I actually filmed it. I actually recorded it. I had it, it's in my phone somewhere. But listen, I respect LeBron James and what he has done for the game and what he continues to do for the game. Where I don't, rock with LeBron James, and it's not him. But it's when they go into the GOAT talk and him being better than Jordan. That's the only thing and I don't want to get into that because we're not going to do that.
LeBron.
Yeah, no, I just 100%. But there are people who really think that he's the GOAT and better than Michael Jordan. And that's when I he's not. And then I pick at all his flaws. But at the end of the day, he is a GOAT, but he's not the GOAT, So, but at the end of the day, that's that. But I think the Lakers will, have a pretty decent season.
Well, I mean, what you said, Haron, I agree with it. There's a reason why I got the GOAT behind me. That's the GOAT. But this is one of the things that Trip and I have been trying to aim to shift away from. Like, we should have a true Mount Rushmore or a true starting 5.
Yeah,
True starting 5, because that's not to knock Bron's greatness. Just to say he's not better than Mike doesn't take away from everything Bron did. Right. So we'll say that. The Lakers are going to be fine. We know that the Lakers are trying to gear up for the second half of the season. You already see it. I was shocked that they had Bron on a minutes restriction on opening night.
That was crazy.
Right. But ultimately, their goal is to make sure Bron has as much miles as possible come playoff time, because he is in year 21 of his career. So I'm not going to make too much of it. Year 21.
A lot of cats can't do that.
21, man.
It's year 21.
Do something for me.
And let me just throw this out there too. He's one of only 4 athlete billionaires. I'm just gonna throw that out there too. Shout out to
but that's why I say let's not get too caught up in the slow start, because they are going to gear themselves up come playoff time, and the Lakers may even make a move. So I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Austin Reeves struggling. I mean, I'm not.
Beginning
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to put too much weight on that, because it's like, again, we're a few games in. This is a team that we expect to be at their best come May when the playoffs start. Not at their best now in late October.
It's a veteran-driven team.
Right. So they'll be fine. Let's not read too much into it. It's a long season. They'll figure it out. The biggest key for them, though, is Anthony Davis has to elevate his game.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis was brought there to kind of take over, and LeBron was supposed to fall back. He has not done it. He has not shown any signs of that. So that's more concerning for me. Anthony Davis got to take that next step up. But we got a lot of good questions, man. Let me see. Let's get to this one. Ron, we're going to get to you next. But I like this one from Kyrie. On paper, right now, Lakers or Clippers, and they do play tomorrow. Haron, what you think?
On paper, that's a good one. I mean, I think that LeBron and the Lakers will be up for that game. I think that that's cool. I think matchup wise,
is Harden playing tomorrow?
If Harden's,
I doubt he's playing. He's there tonight. I know they got the game against San Antonio tonight. I believe he's there tonight. I think it's San Antonio they play tonight. Let me double check. I'm sorry. They played the Magic. They played the Magic tonight. They played the Magic tonight. And Harden's supposed to be there.
If Harden plays, I think that it's gonna be like, that's a crazy, looking team. At the end of the day, and again, if healthy, I think that the Clippers may get them. You know what I mean? I think the Clippers may get them, but matter of fact, I'm gonna go against that. I think the Lakers will win that game. I think the Lakers will win that game. It's at the safe.
I think if Harden doesn't play, the Clippers have a better chance of winning that game just right now.
Yeah.
Because we're just kind of basically talking about throwing Harden into the mix of what they got going on and trying to acclimate him on the fly. So if he doesn't play, I would give them a better chance of beating the Lakers. obviously both of these teams is going to get up for this game because it's big brother, little brother. You know.
So are they talking about the game tomorrow or just overall? Like, is he?
It seems like a little bit of both because he goes on paper right now, and then he also says they play tomorrow.
I got to see how they play together first.
Yeah,
it's tough to say. That's too much of an adjustment that's going to have to be made to acclimate James Harden into that situation for me to just say right now they're going
to. On paper, it's crazy. So on paper,
for future Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I would give it to the Clippers on paper. But you can't count out LeBron James. You understand?
Like he's 3.5. I don't know if Paul George is necessarily
he's the Hall of Fame
yet.
Right? No, Paul.
I don't know
because
that's what I'm saying. I guess we might have that debate. Is Paul George a Hall of Famer if his career ends today?
Was he in the top 75?
No, he wasn't in the top 75. If he was in the top 75, I would say that would have been a guarantee. But no, he wasn't in the top 75, so no, I can't give him that. I'd say possible, maybe by the end of his career, he would have accomplished enough. But as of right now, I'll definitely say 3 future Hall of Famers.
I'm going with the Clippers overall this season over the Lakers. Yeah, my gut is telling me that. You know what I mean? So I'm going with that. What about you, E?
I think on paper, yes, the Clippers sound better. It's just more star power there. Yeah. I think when they play tomorrow, the Clippers probably will win. But I got to go with the proven entity. And the proven entity is that LeBron, come playoff time, is going to find a way to win the series. Yeah. Whereas the Clippers, since they put this together with Kawhi and PG, we've seen nothing but them lose in the second round or get injured. Yeah. The one time they made the Western Conference Finals was with Kawhi injured and PG elevated his game probably to the highest level it's gone to. And Trip, to your point, I love PG, but PG is not a Hall of Fame player. I'm sorry. In my opinion, you got to be one of the top 15 guys during your era. I don't think he's really been one of the top 15 guys. He's never been a top 3 finalist for MVP. All NBA teams, I think he's somewhere around like 4 or 5 times that he's been a all NBA guy. Yeah. Other than that, there isn't very many accolades that you could throw on there and say, hey, Paul George should be a Hall of Famer. A very good player, don't get me wrong. Very good player.
He have to win a championship
and with the Clippers.
And he can win a championship with
I think he has to bring it in for the Clippers.
Unless it's in a backup or role player role, like later in his career. But to say, all right, we can give Paul George the edge and push him into the Hall of Fame, he has to have an NBA championship because he's so far into his career now. It's like how much more is he going to be able to accomplish with so many other great players that are ahead of him to say, all right, now we can push him into the Hall of Fame. I don't think he has enough time.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna put this one up because Ron he tried to come for me here, so I'm gonna correct him on it. He said, Eric, I want to correct you. AD, the last 3 games has been the Lakers' best player. Check the stats, and of note, the Clippers have beat the Lakers 11 straight times. It's cool that AD has been the best player the last 3 games, but for the last 3 years, how many times has he not been the best player when he needed to be? How many times has he faded when he needed to be the best player? So it's cool that he's been the best player for the last 3 games.
Show me tonight.
Not even show me tonight. Not even show me tonight. Show me over the next month. He's going to be the best player.
I think that people are just waiting for AD to be consistent. Like,
show me.
That's what it is.
He's not consistent. And it's tough to to put your eggs in that basket.
Especially when the playoffs, when it counts, you put up 40, and then that next game you had 20. You gotta have some type of consistency.
He didn't score the whole second half in game 1, like against Denver. When he talking about and then the big talk, we're gonna get them, we're gonna beat them. That was him talking, and then Jokic killed them.
Yeah,
destroyed them again. He showed why he's the MVP. Just like AD, man up. You know what I'm saying? You are that. Even the American big man that we and I know Dwight Howard got his a lot of stuff going on right now. But when they beat Denver to go to the finals, they beat Miami, Dwight was putting in work. Yeah. He was the one that was really
guarding.
Do we have to say pause after that now?
That he was putting in work.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
Everything.
I guess everything you say with Dwight
Howard,
Howard, you got to pause, right? Pause.
But but it's true. Dwight was amazing during. Dwight and AD were amazing during that finals run.
But he was also helping out a lot too.
But listen, AD has to. For me, he got to be consistent over a month, 2 months, 3 months.
A season? How about a season?
No, yeah, I don't even want a month at this point. Yeah,
Right.
AD should be with his talent on as being an elite offensive and defensive player. AD should be top 5 in MVP voting every season. No debate.
And he gets to the glass, he gets hurt, he gets he's falling on the floor. At the end of the day, my thing with AD is even if you're hurt, say something. Oh my god, the theatrics is insane.
Yeah, he's got to do better.
I mean, and let's take it a step further too. Ron, you want to point out the last 3 games? Who were the big men that he went up against the last 3 games? They beat Sacramento. They beat Orlando.
Sacramento got some out there.
I'm sorry, they lost to Sacramento, but they beat Orlando. They beat Phoenix.
Bron got dunked on too by
there isn't much resistance when you talk about but hold on. There isn't the 3 teams I mentioned, there isn't much resistance in terms of like front court presence.
Yeah.
Like who's the big man for Phoenix?
Nurkic. Oh no, Nurkic. Oh, that's out there. Yeah.
Last time I checked,
he should be able to piece it against the Clippers too.
Right.
No big man that can do anything with Anthony Davis. Zubac ain't stopping AD.
He said, "Look, hold on, Ron. I'm gonna get to that question too. I wanted to highlight this one as well because Ron did give us a good shout out right here as well. He said, I didn't see a reminder for this show. Lucky I logged in. What's the special show? It was a special show. There was a big trade, so we had to get to it, and then we had to bring our brother Haron on to get to it. But he wants to know as well. He goes, question for the panel. Maybe Trip can look up his average, but what do y'all want him to average? It's 25 and 12. It's not right. It's not about average.
I don't think it's about average. I want to take that, man. I don't think it's about average. I think it's about demeanor. I think it's about willpower. I think it's about, being present and just being the guy who, we all know who he can be. At the end of the day, he shows flashes of being great and then it goes away. So we're just frustrated. And as I'm not a Laker fan, but as a fan of basketball, I'm frustrated with this guy because it's like, yo, bro, be great. That's it. Be great. And you're standing next to one of the greatest players of all time, and you see his work ethic. How can you not just, do the same thing? Pour into that. Stop falling on the floor and acting like Mr. Glass. Stop, every little knick-knack injury, you act like you got shot or something like that. No one wants to see all of that. You're an NBA professional basketball player. Man up.
And if you do get hurt, bounce back and get right back to where he was at, like
sitting out all these games.
LeBron get hurt, he coming back and he's still gonna put up 25, 8 and 7. Like you have to be able to. Injuries are part of the game. Guys are gonna get injured. We get that. It's how you come back from injuries. If you're back and you're healthy, you need to be getting back to a consistent. And if you're asking for a specific stat line for Anthony Davis, I want to give me 25, 12, and 3 every night, and I'll be happy.
3 blocks?
Yeah. He can absolutely do that. Well, you guys say at least 2. Give me 2, because 3 is a lot every night. But if you give me 25, 12, and 2, I won't have nothing to say win, lose, or draw, because now I'll know, all right, he's playing up to the level that we know he can play, that we've seen him at, and he is somebody that should be in the MVP conversation. We haven't seen that. You got to show me that this season. This is now. Because we can wait till LeBron gets to year 25 to be consistent. No, we need it right now.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. It's really about the consistency. It's not the average of the numbers. It's the consistency. We all know Anthony Davis has top 5 talent.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about a guy who consistently misses 20 plus 30 games a year, when you're talking about a guy for every time he gives you that great performance, he's bound to give you that bad performance. That's where we have an issue with it. We've seen AD like thoroughly dominate at times where he'll give you 35 and 15, and then the next night it turns into a 16 and 8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's better than that. So it's more about the consistency. And when you look at the games played, he had a season where he only played 40 games with the Lakers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He had a season last year. He only played 54 games with the Lakers.
That's
Like
crazy.
you're missing large chunks of the season, and you're the guy who's expected to kind of carry the mantle. So that's what we want. 25-12 on the surface sounds great, but that only sounds great if I'm expecting you to play 70 games a year. If you're missing 30 games, 25-12 ain't that great when you really think about it.
Well, now with the NBA too, with the there's a certain mark you have to play at least 65 games to qualify for like MVP and
Right.
things like that. So I think that's a great addition to what the NBA is doing.
You Joel Embiid as your marker, right?
Yeah.
Joel Embiid gets banged up every season, misses games every season, but when he's on the court, he's still giving you 28 and 12 with a couple of blocks. He's still in the MVP conversation for the past 4 or 5 years. He's been in the top 5 in the MVP ranking, really top 2.
He's one of the bigs who really, who play big. You know what I mean?
And they got it done this past season to get the MVP after being
He cried
one
for
and
it.
two.
Jokic should have been 3-time MVP in a row. I personally think Embiid cried for that. Like he didn't. I don't think he earned that MVP.
I don't know if Jokic should have been 3 straight
Why not?
MVPs, but I think I think the second MVP was definitely his. I think the first MVP could have went either way. Though my problem with him giving Jokic 3 straight MVPs is that when you had guys like Mike that should have got that many MVPs, he's not getting them. You got guys like Braun that should have got 4 straight MVPs. Then you're gonna come back and now we're gonna give it to Jokic. I'm like, nah, we can't.
And I think one of those MVPs that Steve Nash got should have went to Kobe Bryant too.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a whole other story for another day.
I think Jokic was the best player last year, but I also think there was voter fatigue, and we can't overlook the fact that as human beings, when we vote you as an MVP and then your team loses early in the playoffs, we start to feel guilty about even voting you as MVP.
Yes, I agree.
But happened with Jokic too, and I think that happened.
Yeah, so
when Denver last year won,
when Denver, those 2 years that he won MVP and they're losing early in the playoffs, voters started to feel like, we shouldn't have voted for him. Like, what's the point of making you the MVP if you out of here by the second round? So that's where the voter fatigue comes in. It's unfair. Mm-hmm. It is unfair, but that's the human element of it.
Do you think that the NBA MVP voting should go like towards in the playoffs, or should it be a regular season thing?
I think that
should the playoffs be counted for that?
They should announce it sooner. At least.
I think if you want to keep it as a regular season, that's fine, but it should be announced before the playoffs even start. It shouldn't be like we're waiting for a couple weeks in to then announce it, because that's, like I said, that's when the human element of it comes in. Like, why are we voting for this guy? Same thing happened with Embiid last year. Like, everybody felt guilty that they voted Embiid for MVP, and he didn't play well in Game 7, and they got bumped in the second round.
Yeah.
Announce it right away. Listen. Everything is electronic now. We took the votes, we tallied it. We're going to announce it before the season starts. I think there should be a regular season MVP, and there should be a playoff MVP, not just a finals MVP.
Well, now they do have the Larry Bird,
but I think that's for conference.
For the conference, right?
Yeah,
conference.
And that's dope though. That's fine. You want to be praised for a lot of the, you do love those awards,
Right.
What else we got?
Kevin Ford, he took a jab at you right here. He said, Trip, you like LeBron on a Shannon Sharp level, huh? He said,
finally somebody called him out on it, man.
Listen, it ain't no secret that LeBron is my guy.
This is weird.
First of all, hold on. Let's not act like LeBron is not worthy of the praise that he gets. Let's not do that. Whether you feel like he's the GOAT or not, you ain't putting LeBron past number 2 on time. I'm sorry. He is that guy.
Not for sure.
So, you know what I mean?
Would you put him so Jordan and then who?
I always said it's always a debate for me. I got Braun. I think it's a 2A and 2B. I think Braun is 2A, and I think Kareem is 2B.
Okay.
I think too often we overlook Kareem's career and what he did
At every level he won.
at every level, but even at the NBA, like he has one more chip than Braun. I think the MVP is a 4-3 there. Again, he was the scoring leader before Braun took over that.
And he should have one more Finals MVP, but that one they gave
Right,
Magic,
they gave
that
Magic.
was really
Like,
Kareem's Finals MVP.
right. To me, the reason I always say this to people, we cannot overlook Braun, the totality of Braun's resume, because Kareem had the benefit of late in his career, he didn't have to be the best player. Magic was the best player, right?
Yeah.
There isn't an instance where you could say, yo, Braun won a championship because somebody else was the best player. And every one of those instances, Braun was the best player on those teams.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And so for me, that's why I put Braun slightly ahead of Kareem. Kareem got the advantage of late in his career where he got to be the number 2 and Magic got to kind of drive. Braun has always had to drive because there was never a guy, and that speaks to the Anthony Davis point of it.
Even now, he's trying to. He came and said, "Here, AD, here,
take this,
please. I want you. So I want to play second fiddle and like kind of, and he can't do it. You know what I mean? LeBron's 39 years old, bro, and he's playing at this level. It's insane. You know, but at the end of the day, it takes a real killer to be a killer. You know what I mean? So, and I don't know. Either you got it, or you don't.
He's still at year 21. LeBron James came into the season ranked in the top 10. I mean, nothing more needs to be said. Who else in the history of the NBA?
No one.
First of all, 90% of NBA players don't even make it into year 20. And this man is a top 10 player going into year 21.
You think he'll do 25 years? Like to do so? Like
I mean, KG said he could. I believe he could just because. I'm not saying he will, but if he really has the goal of playing with both of his sons, he can, just based off, and barring, of course, any major injuries that would knock him out of playing. If he wants to play to year 25, just based off of the level that he's at right now, I could see LeBron playing 4 more seasons if he wanted to.
He still moves so fluidly. I watch him and I'm like, yo, bro, the way he's moving and jumping, and he may not be getting up as high, but the way he moves is still like strong and
he has probably arguably the best basketball IQ we've ever seen. So if LeBron was coming into this season and he came off of last season averaging 14, 4, and 5, no. But the fact that he's still, playing at this level, yeah. If he wants to go to 25 and be able to play with both of his sons in the NBA, I think LeBron will do that, and I think he can do it and still be a solid contributor in 4 seasons. Obviously, I don't think he'll be a top 10 player or anything like that, but I think he can still contribute to an NBA team within a 4-year time span.
Yeah, that's a fact. I guess this will probably be the last question of the night right here. Kevin Ford, Magic Johnson has a big case to be number 2 ever. I think you could make a strong argument for Magic there. To me, I don't put him above Braun or Kareem. And again, it goes back to the totality of the resume. Magic also had the luxury. You look at that team that Magic walked into. There was already Kareem there. There wasn't that pressure to have to be the guy. You already had Kareem there. You had the luxury of he had the luxury of being able to be a true point guard and facilitate and not have to worry about dropping 25 a night. That's one of the things that I think Braun will always have over a lot of guys. Braun walked into a situation where Braun had to be the face of the franchise right away. He had to carry guys right away. And Braun, again, was always the best player on the team. There was never an instance where you looked at somebody else and said, well, Braun isn't the best guy, so he can ride that person's coattails.
Yeah, I agree. And as much as I love Magic wasn't hitting them all defensive teams like that either during the prime of his career. So you also gotta count that.
Is there a case for Kobe
to be number 2?
Is there a case for Kobe?
No. And I love Kobe, but no.
Yeah. Respectfully, I'm not a Kobe fan, but I always give Kobe his respect. But
let me ask you.
No, he's not.
All right. This is exactly why Trip and I started the Mount Rushmore. as opposed to just who's the GOAT of all time.
Mhm.
It's tough for me to put Kobe. First of all, let's be real. During Kobe's era, I think Tim Duncan was the best player of that era.
I agree. I agree.
So
His
so
name
if
doesn't
you
get mentioned at
yeah,
all.
it doesn't get mentioned enough. Right. It doesn't get mentioned enough. So if we're gonna say if you're number two, you got to be the best player of your era, and I think Tim Duncan was the best player of his era. Also, Kobe had the luxury again. Early on, Kobe walked into a situation where they had Shaq. Kobe got time to develop to become Kobe Bryant.
Right. You're right. And you remember they had Eddie Jones as well too. Eddie Jones,
Nick
Nick
Van Exel.
Yeah. Didn't they get all four of them went to the All-Star game?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Nah. And listen, much respect to Kobe, but Kobe doesn't have the resume to put him in the top three. Realistically, I don't even know to put him in the top five. I don't think he has the resume to be in the top five because. Hold on, let me finish.
Top five Lakers.
Because if you obviously he's always gonna be a top five Laker. But if you look at the guys that we have in the top five, they all have multiple regular season MVPs. They have at least 3 regular season MVPs.
How many guys? Kobe had what?
Kobe has 1.
One. He just got 1.
And he only has 2 finals MVPs.
But he got jerked for. I think again he could have had another one.
But we could argue for everybody that's in the top 5 though that they could have gotten another MVP, right? Because we're talking about MJ.
He could have gotten every single year.
You know what I'm saying? LeBron, Kareem, they all have multiple MVPs, multiple finals MVPs. Even if you want to throw Magic in there, Magic has multiple MVPs, multiple finals MVPs. You know what I mean? So it's tough to push Kobe without having the same resume as the guys that are already, I guess, looked at as the top 5 all time.
Yeah, Kyrie made a great statement here, and I think we, for the most part, agree. Like I said, Magic went to 9 finals in 12 years, has 5 titles. Magic with points on the board now. I think LeBron played with a ton of great co-stars. I think all of that is correct, Kyrie. But again, Magic walked into a situation that already had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And when he walked into that situation, Kareem was already on the cusp of being the all-time leading scorer.
Yep. And Kobe and Shaq, Kobe wasn't the best player on his team for a while. We gotta call spade.
He kind of had to he wanted to get Shaq out of there too. You know how many rings they would have won though if Kobe and Shaq.
I think they could have gotten more if they had were able to put the egos aside and stay together. But
to play devil's advocate though, that was in the best interest of Kobe though, because if they Kobe,
I didn't see you couldn't see Kobe like that
because Shaq was so
dominant. Like Kobe is like, he's an add-on. Like when I was a big Allen Iverson fan. That was one of my favorite players of all time. I wore the number 3 because of AI as well too, But I had the cornrows and the braid. But anyway, I saw AI and I thought AI was better than Kobe at that time. You know what I mean? And people saw Kobe big, tall, and big guard, but at the end of the day, I couldn't see him as I thought. I saw him as like a Jordan, trying to be, right? You know what I'm saying? And he just, but it took Shaq leaving that team to see Kobe's real greatness, right? And
that's a fact.
Because you have to be, when we're talking about the elite of the elite, all-time greatest players, you cannot rise on that list until you do it as the best player on your team. So Kobe had a longer way to go because he got 2 more to get him to 5, but them Shaq years, we gotta call a spade. Shaq was that guy. And there's a reason why Shaq got 3 finals MVPs when it was Kobe and Shaq together, because he was that guy. Kobe had to go out and prove that still, and he did it, but it's not enough to say, all right, now we could just boost him up because of the fact that
the Lakers have they had a 3-peat?
Yeah, they won 3. That's what I'm saying. So and he in Shaq is finals MVP on all 3 of those teams. So it's harder to say to make that argument because he's the best player on his team for 2 of those. for 2 out of the 5.
Yeah, I think
That was crazy.
I don't know if we ever get to see the finished product of Kobe if him and Shaq stay together. We needed because you got to remember that the 81 points come after Shaq left.
Yeah.
You know,
and it was a terrible Lakers team too.
Right.
You know?
But not just that. It spoke to the greatness of Kobe. Like that the Mamba mentality was developed after Shaq left.
Yes.
Well, I think it was there, but it couldn't be
to showcase it.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think he was able to showcase it.
Right.
Because
I think
he was behind.
Right. So, but that's why I say it was developed. It was there, but we would have never been able to see it. Or he would have never been able to tap into it with Shaq because Shaq. You look at some of them finals when you got Shaq averaging 32 and 15 in the finals. It don't matter what Kobe does. Shaq winning the MVP of that series. Dikembe Mutombo was the defensive player of the year. Shaq gave him 32 and 15, bro.
Yeah, that was so bad. There was nothing that you could have done with Shaq during those years, and there was nothing that nobody on his team because if when you're on a team and you got a guy there who is being triple teamed and maybe a quadruple team, there's no way that you're gonna be able to compete with that. When he's putting up those kind of numbers, it's gonna be very different. Like Kobe would have had to put astronomical numbers up in order to get a Finals MVP away from Shaq during that time.
And even still, it was never gonna happen. Shaq was so dominant.
Because he's still putting up crazy numbers as them. So.
Right. The offense was running through Shaq. He was so dominant, it wasn't going to happen. He needed to get away from Shaq to be able to really showcase what he could do as a player. Yes. That's not a knock against Kobe, but we can't also overlook that either. Kobe was benefited with that that security blanket. Yeah. It allowed him to become the player he was. So that's why for me, Kobe is tough to put him in that top 5 conversation. We already know he's never going to be the best shooting guard ever because Mike got that spot.
Yeah.
So now it's like, who do we put him above? Where do we get him in? I love Kobe's game. I just don't put him there. A couple comments, Trip. The supporters, man, they can see it. They see that you have this love fest for LeBron and you're not willing to. I'm just telling you right now. Look, these some of the comments that's coming through right here. Kyrie said, Trip, like homie above said, y'all having a LeBron love fest. Trip does have joy. Listen, and then this one right here, Ron said, "You so biased." LOL. We talk about that.
Hey, Ron's my guy. I'm sorry.
I don't think I've ever had a man crush like Skip does. I mean, I'm sorry, Trip does. I call him Skip. I call him Skip. He's acting like Skip right now.
Bromance.
Bromance right here. I don't know. Can you hear that, E? You hear that?
I got you. Yeah. I heard you.
Pause. Nah, but I don't think that especially with fandom, man.
It's my favorite. But hold on.
This is for years.
But it's not. But it's not like it's something that's not warranted, right? It's not like I'm up here trying to go to bat for Paul George, let's just say, right? Well, somebody who doesn't have the resume that LeBron has. I'm not just up here talking about anybody in the NBA. I'm talking about somebody who is recognized as the second best player of all time.
I can't feel that feeling no more. For that happened. Scottie Pippen was my favorite player, but he never was the guy. I've always been a fan of players who had to overcome things, who wasn't like the golden boy or golden child or whatever. But
Mike had to overcome a lot too now.
100%. So, but Mike wasn't my favorite player. So I've always liked Allen Iverson.
Because how many times he killed the Knicks?
Who Mike?
Yeah.
No, I was actually no. I've been a Bulls fan, so I was in a house full of Knicks fans when I was a young boy. But not always But Scottie Pippen, his game spoke more volumes to me.
Yeah.
He guarded the best player. He would bring up the ball. He could shoot. He could score. And I used to.
He was one of the original point forwards.
100%. So but I just never liked the guy who everybody liked. That was just me. But
well, a lot of people don't like LeBron, so it's and it's okay because that's my guy. Alright, and then y'all talking crazy. But if I get LeBron to come here on this show, I bet you we have a million questions in that comment bar. I bet you that.
We'll have a million views too.
Listen,
Hey, Trip, make that happen.
right.
I'm make some calls.
We got a couple more. Ron wants to know, Haron, your thoughts on Marquise Noel, Mr. New York. How you doing so far with the Raptors? I will say, I think Marquise Noel's with their G League team. He's not officially with the Raptors though. But go ahead, Ron.
He gonna get there. He gonna get there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
wait, man, this dude, his drive, his dad actually gave me my name, H20.
Mm.
His dad, Taz, he's the announcer at Kingdom. So and Taz kind of left the game to train his son and to be there for his son, and he kind of left during my era when I was coming up. But Taz, there's a real connection there. Him being one of my favorite guys too. But Marquise Noel, man, his story is amazing, bro. Like for him to be so short and but strong and to play the game the right way and be a leader and speak to New York, right? He's one of those guys who he's from New York, right? He's a New York guy, and he's somebody that I would forever root for. I hope he gets the opportunity to have the keys.
Hello.
When I mean having the keys, meaning
Hello.
like being able to say, here, do what you do, and let's get it done. I really feel like Marquise Noel is he'll definitely play in the NBA, and if given the opportunity, he will show up.
Yeah, I think he'll get to that next level. He's a super talented young man.
Yeah.
James Brown, shout out to James Brown. Trip, he want to know. You got LeBron as an all-time Laker? He says not at all. Don't say yes.
Do I have LeBron as an all-time Laker?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could be an all-time Laker, but I'm not gonna say he's ahead of any of the He's not gonna be ahead of Kareem. He's not gonna be ahead of Kobe. He's not gonna be ahead of Shaq. He's not gonna be ahead of I guess Jerry West right now. But if LeBron gets a second ring with the Lakers, then we could have a conversation. But he's not gonna pass the guys that are already ahead of him. It would be too hard to pass the guys that are already ahead of him because they have the resumes already, and because LeBron hasn't been with the Lakers long enough. But yeah, he's still gonna be on the Lakers all time list. He's just not gonna pass guys like Kobe, Magic, Shaq, Kareem. It would be extremely hard for him to pass those guys because he's so late in his career playing for the Lakers.
Who does he retire with? What team? Every team will retire.
Yeah, Cleveland, Miami, and LA is going to retire his jersey. That's facts.
What teams again?
Cleveland, Miami, and LA are going to retire LeBron's jersey.
I'll be honest. I don't know if the Lakers are going to retire his jersey.
He got a ring with them. They're going to retire.
No. Hold on. No, Trip. I think they will acknowledge his contribution. I don't know if they're going to retire his jersey
because he had 6 and. Well,
Jerry West got one ring with the Lakers,
but it's not about the one win. Jerry West, I think Jerry West took them. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. He took them to 5 finals though.
Yes, and lost. And
that's cool, but hold on.
And LeBron also just passed Kareem as a Laker for the all-time scoring list.
But
they're gonna retire his jersey.
What's LeBron's numbers look like as a Laker?
Well, I think he played about 7 years.
25, 8 and 7.
This is actually the longest period he's been with one team, and I think he played
Cleveland
first time, but this is the longest he's been with.
He's been with the Lakers longer than he was with Miami.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the organization will definitely acknowledge his contributions. The retiring a number, I don't know if they're gonna go that far.
So what number would you retire? 23 or 6? Or number 6 is retired because of Bill Russell.
I think.
It's University retired.
Yeah, University. So
I think Cleveland is without a doubt. Cleveland retires the 23. Yeah. That's not even a question. I think Miami will retire it as well because we can't forget he took them to 4 straight NBA Finals. He won 2
MVPs.
2 MVPs. Right. I think they will, but I think the Lakers, because it's such a storied franchise, I think they will acknowledge his contributions. I don't think they will retire his number though.
He wins another ring for sure. I think he'll retire. For
I,
sure. I think so. And
no
especially
debating if he wins the second ring.
And just because he is one of one, he is the only LeBron James that will ever come to play, right?
Yeah. But I still think there's going to be a case just because he already has one ring and he passed the all-time scoring lead as a member of the Lakers. I think they do. Yeah. If he didn't do that part of it, just with the one ring, maybe I wouldn't feel that way. But because of that record, which was also held by a Laker for what, 40 years, something like that, 40 plus years, and then to come in as a Laker and do that, I think they will.
And he's gonna get 40,000. He's gonna get
and his you got to think too, right? His numbers are going to continue to go up as a member of the Lakers. So yeah, but even if he doesn't win another chip, the numbers that he's going to accumulate during his time, because now again we are talking about 6 and 7 season now with the Lakers.
Right.
I don't see him. I don't think he's going to retire at the end of this season. So those numbers are going to continue to go up.
Sidebar: I wanted to know you guys' opinion on Jordan Poole with the Wizards, and people were saying he's going to be the next James Harden. James Harden, when he left OKC and went to Houston, he started going crazy.
He's not James Harden. We're not, and as much as we was talking crazy about James Harden earlier in the show, he is nowhere near James Harden. First of all, James Harden was $6 million a year coming out of OKC before he even was established as James Harden, the upper echelon of the NBA. James Harden.
He should have started over there in OKC too, but I think they needed
power
of the bench as well.
Right. People forget that year that they went to the finals, James Harden started some games.
Yeah.
James Harden was a big part of their success of getting to the NBA finals. James Harden was looking like the next coming of Manu Ginobili before he left to go to Houston. So there was a lot already there on the table with James Harden. Jordan Poole was a guy who really has had one really good season with the Warriors. Aside from that really one good season, we haven't really talked about Jordan Poole. Nobody was checking for him.
Yeah, it's something that the Warriors knew that we all didn't know. I guess it's like the IQ, mindset, and character.
And he can't take punch. So there's a lot of factors that go. Let me say this really quick, because I know we about to start wrapping things up. Make sure that you guys are following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter @RealFanTalk, Facebook.com/RealFansRealTalk, YouTube.com /For the Fans Productions. And of course, if you're not in New York City on Thursday nights and you can't watch on Verizon 43 from 8 to 9 p.m., you can always hit that website, RealFansRealTalk.com, and click that red button on the homepage. You can watch from anywhere in the world. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the Sanchez Show podcast and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast. And when y'all realize that Haron got one of the best community movements going, y'all better get in tune with Ballin' for Peace @Ballin' for Peace. Make sure y'all subscribe to @Ballin' for Peace as well, and of course H205. Make sure y'all follow him on Instagram as well, because like I said, he's moving and grooving in our community, working with our youth, and that's something that needs to be applauded and supported. So make sure y'all keep in tune with H2O as well.
Tap into our holiday classic, December 27th and 28th. We got the biggest high school basketball tournament going down. We have 16 games in 2 days. We have a day dedicated to junior varsity. The games start at 10 o'clock. The end is last game will be around 6:30. Springfield High School, we're back, and then the 28th we have another eight games starting at the same time and ending at the same time. We have some of the top ball players, high school ball players in New York City. We got a 3-point contest with the high schoolers. We have a dunk contest as well too. It's going down. We're doing stuff and giving back to the community, and one of the biggest and best ways ever through sports. And so tap in with us. Tickets are free right now on Eventbrite. You go to ballandforpeace.eventbrite.com as well too. Go to our page, ballandforpeace.org. tap in. Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. Can you put the camera back on me for one quick second? If you are in the New York City area and you do need a studio to record out of, make sure Bronx Hill Studios is it. Much respect to Heck. Every time we hear, he shows us nothing but love, and that brother is efficient too. He knows what he's doing. He gonna have you out there looking good. If you got a show, you got a podcast, you got a TV show, anything like that, Bronx Hill Studios is where it is at. I'm gonna put the info up on this episode as well, so you guys will be able to see that. But much respect to you. I appreciate you for having us back. Eric, final thought?
Man, as always, man, it's always amazing getting together with my brothers. But the supporters, man, we greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to rock with us. You could be anywhere in the world. So to continue to tune in with us. We're gonna be back on Sunday. And we got a lot going on, man. So just lock in with us.
Yes, sir. With that being said, once again, shout out to the supporters. For myself, Trip Young, my brother, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in 2 Games, and of course, Haron, H20 Hargrave. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. You stopped the live, hey?
I did not. I'm about to right now.
Eric, you still on live?